The war had already reached northern Australia. Darwin had been bombed, and Japanese forces were advancing rapidly across the Pacific. But on the night of the 31st of May 1942, the war came directly to Sydney Harbour. 5 Japanese I-class submarines had been operating off the Australian east coast. After sending a reconnaissance aircraft over Sydney Harbour, the Japanese identified Allied warships inside the harbour. 3 of the larger submarines launched small 2-man midget submarines, each carrying 2 torpedoes. Their mission was to sneak into Sydney Harbour and attack the Allied fleet. The first submarine entered the harbour at around 8 p.m, but it soon became trapped in the partially completed anti-submarine boom net near the harbour entrance. Unable to escape, the 2 Japanese sailors detonated explosives inside their submarine, destroying it and killing themselves rather than being captured. The second submarine managed to get through the defences. It made its way towards Garden Island, where the American heavy cruiser USS Chicago was anchored. Around midnight, the submarine fired both of its torpedoes, but neither hit Chicago. One ran ashore on Garden Island, the other passed beneath the Dutch submarine K9 and struck the harbour floor underneath HMAS Kuttabul. The explosion sank Kuttabul, which was being used as an accommodation ship for naval personnel. 21 sailors were killed, 19 Australians and 2 members of the Royal Navy. Meanwhile, the 3rd Japanese submarine was still somewhere inside the harbour. Australian naval vessels searched through the darkness, using depth charges to hunt for it. Eventually, it was located in Taylor Bay and attacked. The submarine was destroyed and both Japanese crewmen were found dead inside, but one submarine was still missing. The 3rd attacking submarine, M24, had disappeared after escaping the harbour. For decades, nobody knew what happened to it. Then in 2006, recreational divers discovered the wreck off Sydney's northern beaches. The mystery had finally been solved. The raid was not a Japanese victory. The main target, USS Chicago, survived, but the attack demonstrated Sydney Harbour was vulnerable. Just days later, Japanese submarines would return to shell Sydney and Newcastle with their deck guns. The attack helped convince Australian authorities that the country's coastline needed stronger defences. Today, the Japanese midget submarine, recovered from the harbour, is preserved at the Australian War Memorial.